Yes, people, how we all doing? So, what I'm going to be talking about, as you can see in the title, prison officer being attacked inside of HMP Long Lartin. So this is making headlines at the moment. Now, somebody did send us an email earlier on, as soon as this attack had, well, not as soon as, but just after this attack had actually happened. I did receive an email, and obviously I didn't want to come on straight away, just in case it was fake news, because I do get quite a lot sending emails and messages giving us info inside the prisons. But a lot of the stuff people do send us, I make sure it's legit and it's true before I put on the channel. Now, I will do a bit of interacting with the subscribers at the end, but I will talk a little bit about these stories first. But afternoon, Jade, afternoon, Tin Pail, afternoon, Cheryl. So, if you haven't already known, a prison guard, a screw inside of HMP Long Lartin, was stabbed up this morning, and it was that bad he got airlifted to hospital. Now, when you get airlifted to hospital, it's obviously very serious indeed, critical stage. So the info that has come in as well is that this article that was used to stab the prison officer had actually been flown in on a drone. Now, a lot of you who's been following my channel and following like prison news will know all about the drones inside the prisons at the moment. They cannot be stopped. They're coming in just about every day in just about every prison up and down the country. So apparently a lock knife has been flown into the prison, which has been used to stab the screw up. Now, I don't know exactly which prisoner it is at the moment, but there is a few bits of news coming in. And like I've said, the emails that I've been getting, the one I got earlier on just after the attack happened, has actually said that the inmate who has stabbed the prison officer up is a Muslim extremist. And he is a white Muslim extremist, which in the high security estate, as I know firsthand because I've been in there myself, there's any amount of Muslim inmates who are converts or reverts, however you pronounce it properly, who have converted to Islam. And there's more people walking around inside the prisons who are Muslim in the high security estate than any other religion or gang, may we say. Although they don't like being called a gang, but the brotherhood inside the high security estate, although a lot of people don't like to admit it, I'll tell the truth on here, they have got a stronghold in the high security estate. If anyone has got trouble with the Muslims in the high security estate, they are bang in trouble because they have got a stronghold in all of the high security prisons. And like I've just said, a lot of people don't like to admit it or own up to the fact, especially a lot of prisoners and ex-prisoners. But a lot of people do talk shit who haven't even been in the high security estates and say you're full of shit. Anybody who's been in the high security prisons know that they have got a stronghold on the high security prisons. So I don't know exactly why this attack happened this morning in HMP Long Lartin, but all I do know is that it's been a lock knife and the officer has been seriously injured. And like I say, I don't know exactly why it's happened, but a lot of officers get attacked on a daily basis, and a lot of the time it's to do with obviously how the prisoner is actually feeling, if he's pissed off on a certain day, or sometimes certain officers do go out their way to make your life hell. They wind you up, you're in prison anyways, having a hard time. As much as people say it's a holiday camp, you're getting on with your time inside of prison, which you've got to do. Once you're in there, you've got to do your time. So sometimes when these screws are winding you up, getting on your nerves, taking the piss out of you, sometimes people flip. So it could be anything to do with scenarios like this. But as the news comes in, I will keep you all updated. But I will talk a little bit about the prisoners inside of HMP Long Lartin. Now, it's the same with all the high security prisons. You've got Franklin, Long Lartin, Full Sutton, Whitemore, and Wakefield. All highly dangerous prisons. Then you've got HMP Manchester, which has a Category A unit, and HMP Woodhill, which also has a Category A high security unit. Now, there's been attacks recently, obviously the one in Franklin, which I covered, Hasham Abedi, who seriously attacked and injured the screws with hot oil and a weapon stabbing them. Then in HMP Woodhill, you had an altercation. I think there was 3 prison officers attacked, people getting stabbed up, and that's how dangerous these prisons are. Then just last month in HMP Whitemore, there was a prisoner who was murdered inside of his cell. Now, a lot of the murders that happen inside the prisons, which I cover on this channel, are always in the high security prisons. And a lot of the time, believe it or not, are on the bacon wings, the pedo wings, the beastie wings. And that murder that happened last month inside of HMP Whitemore, the prisoner, I believe it was a bacon, where someone went in the pad, battered him, stamped all over him, and killed him instantly. And that's what's happening inside of these prisons. A lot of people, like I've mentioned earlier on, come on and say prison is a holiday camp. Believe you me, prison is no joke, especially at the moment. The prisons are overcrowded, they are understaffed, they are extremely dangerous. It's rampacked full of drugs and weapons, and these places are no joke. It's not somewhere you want to be. Now, before I go any further, you'll be wondering about the tops. Free Bronson. Bronson, the poor bugger, is in HMP Long Lartin in the block. He got into an altercation inside of HMP Woodhill, trying to keep his head down. And the prisoner, I can't even remember his name, he was a horrible piece of work. He was in for killing an old person. He's known for injuring and hurting old people. He's seen Bronson, come across Bronson, battered him, well, try to. But Bronson, even though he's 70, still give him a quick 1-2, put him on his horse, and obliterated him there and then. But Bronson then got transferred to HMP Long Lartin, where he is in the block, rotting away now. So I've got the t-shirts on my website. I'll put the link in the description, but it is behindthebars.store. It's in JD, I don't know, excuse me, got a bit of a bad throat at the minute. Jody, I don't know if you can, JD, sorry. I don't know if you can put the link in the comments section or whether I'll have to do it, but I'll do it at the end. And like I say, these t-shirts are on there. Yeah, I'm going to put an offer on, put them on sale actually. And some of the funds will go towards helping Bronson, helping him towards his appeal. Sorry, not his appeal, his parole, which is coming up at the end of the year. And a lot of people think Bronson is going to be getting released. Done another video on this. Bronson will not be getting out. He's still in the unit, in the segregation block in HMP Long Lartin. So referring back to the prisons and these high security estates, you've got the likes of Cashman, who is also in Long Lartin. Everyone knows who he is. Then you've got David Bieber. I believe he's still there. And people have asked me this question before, and they've said, who is the most dangerous or evil inmate you ever came across? And it was David Bieber. Inside of HMP Franklin in the block, David Bieber was standing next to his training, and I looked at him, and he just had shark eyes. There was no colour in his eyes. His eyes were like shark eyes. And that man is one dangerous mother. Try not to swear on here, people, because it will get flagged up. But yes, David Bieber, I believe he's still inside of HMP Long Lartin. And he actually attacked a female screw inside of HMP Long Lartin. I can't remember exactly what the reason was for, but it was something to do with, I can't remember exactly, but he attacked that prison officer because he wanted to get moved to another prison. And these are the type of things that happen with these type of inmates. If you've got the likes of David Bieber, or you've got the likes of, just say for instance, this person that's attacked the screw this morning, you've got people in there who are serving life without parole, or serving a life sentence with a minimum of 40 years or 50 years. And if they inflict injuries or batter someone or stab a screw, they can get time on top, but it'll not make no difference to someone who is serving life without parole. And these, believe it or not, prisoners who are serving life without parole, who have got nothing to lose apart from time on general population, because they get put in the segregation unit and then they've got to spend time on the units. But believe it or not, these type of inmates get groomed off the other prisoners to do hits, etc., inside the high security prison on other people, because they've got nothing to lose. They're doing life without parole. They're never getting out. They haven't really got anything. They get offered a big lump of money to do something. They jump at the chance. Even though they're sitting in the block for a couple of years, it's a little bit of a change for them. Then they come out of the block and they get put on a different wing. Then they've got a load of money to spend on whatever they want, because you get a private spends inside the high security prisons. So once a year, you can spend, I think it's up to about £500 now. So you can spend £500 on clothes, hi-fis, different things like that. So these are the type of inmates that are in the high security prisons that will inflict the most serious injuries on people or officers, inmates or officers. And when there's trouble inside of them prisons and someone is to be attacked, when they get attacked, it is the most serious form of attack, where they're getting stabbed in the necks, they're getting the throats cut, or they're getting pans of hot oil tipped over the heads. And at the moment, the prison system is getting worse by the week. It's on its fucking arse. So there is two sides to it from a prisoner's point of view. From a screw's point of view, prison officer, it is absolute hellhole. I can only imagine what they must be feeling like waking up on a morning, going to work, surrounded by 100 lunatic murderers on a wing that can attack them at any moment. So that's how the screws will be feeling. And from a prisoner's point of view, if you're someone who's doing maybe a normal sentence, or even someone who's doing a life sentence with a 30-year rec and they've got nothing to lose, if you're in there doing a 30, 40-year rec, you've got nothing to lose, you get caught with phones or drugs, you're not going to suffer any more sentence on top, because they can't put anything on top of that type of sentence that will affect it. So if you're this type of inmate, a lifer with a 30 or 40-year rec, and you're getting stuff flown in on a daily basis by drone, it's what a prisoner would refer to as living the dream inside a prison. They're getting off the nuts, they're getting whatever. Some of them are full of drink, full of that, weapons in, phones in, parties all the time. It's, like I've just said, living the dream from a prisoner's point of view, not from a person out here point of view. But if you're in there, you've got access to all these type of things, you're making a fortune every week, then what sort of lifestyle is that, what people are living inside a prison? So on the other side of it, you've got the prisoners who are coming to the end of their recommendation. Say they've had a 20-year rec. They've been in for 15 years. All they want to do is get this last 5 years done, keep their heads down, get out of jail, get back to living life outside with the family, and then you've got this to deal with. So a prisoner who wants to get on with the time, and they've got to deal with all this on a daily basis, people off the nuts on spice, people coming up into the faces, whatever, and they've got to try and just keep their head down Same with the IPPs. Keep the head down to show that they've changed to get out. But they can't because they're surrounded by this. Now that is the nightmare for the prisoners who want to keep their heads down, get on with the time. They're surrounded by all that shite. Right, people, I will do some interacting with the subscribers now because I have been talking quite a while about the different prisons and what happens inside of them. And if you're just joining now, once I finish this live, it will upload automatically. And I am talking about the prison officer who was being stabbed up inside of HMP Long Lartin with what we've been told is a lock knife that was flown in on a drone. That's how fucked up the prison system is at the moment. People are walking around inside a prison with big old chivs like that have been flown in or chucked over walls or whatever. Right, here we go. So, Jerry, thank you very much, me moderator there. She did put the links in. That was the links to me shop, which is built by Ricky, which is me personal training and coaching shop. But there is a shop called BehindTheBars.store that has all the prison t-shirts on. So if you are interested, get on there and have a look, people. So Sheila says, hope the officer makes a speedy, full recovery. Now, another thing I will talk about when Sheila says, hope the officer makes a full recovery. The majority of lads that have been inside who are decent lads, majority of them talk and get on with the screws. The screws are in there doing a job. Yes, like I said earlier on in the video, some of the screws are absolute dogs. And they make it bad for themselves. But for the ones that are just in there doing the job and they are decent, it is a shame when this type of thing is happening. Because like I've said, even the biggest of gangsters I've seen inside a prison become pally with some of the screws. Some of them are decent. So Yaki, see us big up chat. How you doing, brother? Hope you're keeping well. Laura Barr, how you doing there? Thank you very much for still continuing to watch and subscribe. Stephanie says, any news on how the officer is? Is he severely injured? Hope he is okay and recovers quick. So I'm not too sure. I don't think, obviously, he got took to hospital in a helicopter, air support, but I'm not sure exactly how he is doing, but I will keep you updated on here. And also, I did see Tommy Robinson actually shared that post about the officer as well before it even hit the headlines. Obviously, he's got people and screws giving him information about what's going on inside the prisons. So, Tommy, if you are watching, I know you were interacting with us earlier on Twitter. I am going to get you on here for an interview, talk about your time inside the prison system and see what it's like from your point of view and what it was like spending 7 months inside solitary confinement inside of Wood Hill. But I know you must have been down the block with Joe Outlaw, and he was the one you said in the comment earlier on that Joe Outlaw told you about my channel. So hopefully we can get Tommy on for an interview soon. So Ryan says, how is Robert Morsley doing now? He's bad, but I wonder if he's still in the glass cell. He's actually not in that cell anymore. It wasn't a glass cell, it had a perspex door on. But he has actually been transferred to HMP Whitemore. They took him out of there and they're keeping that cell for somebody. Whether or not someone has already been put in, I spoke about this previously, but getting back to your comment, Robert Maudsley isn't doing very well. He's not liking it down inside of HMP Whitemore. I think he's in the block, but they're trying to get him to go on a unit, which is a unit which tries to integrate prisoners, which it's a waste of time because he's doing life without parole. But it is a shame what's happening to him, but he did kick up a bit of a fuss inside of Wakefield. So they put him inside of HMP Whitemore. And I believe he's quite frail, I think. I'm not sure if he's still on a hunger strike, but I know he is protesting. So I will keep you updated on that as well. So Jade says, any news on any women's prisons? Does much happen like that there? I've had a few lasses on who I've interviewed who have been in prison before, and they've told us that these type of things don't normally happen. The lasses mostly get on with each other, or if they don't, they keep out of each other's way and they just try and get on with the time. But a lot of them, like Lucy Leppy and Rose West, inside of Lower Newton, they're not there now, but when they were there, they're all mixed in. There isn't what you call a protection wing like there is in the men's prisons. But it's definitely not as bad, but there is a lot of kissing going on with the women. Right. Edward says, hi, man. Glad you're doing well. I've not seen the inside of anywhere for over 30 years, but love your content and glad you're putting all about jail out there. People think it's a holiday camp, but we know it's not. Absolutely. Prison is anything but a holiday camp. You do get the Muppets that come out, give decent prisoners a bad name. People will be thinking, well, you're not about decent prisoners. Believe you me, you can get decent prisoners. I've met friends for life inside a prison. But getting back to what Edward says, it's definitely no holiday camp. A lot of people come out who've done a few month sentences, been off the nut for the full sentence, come out, it's a holiday camp. It is for you, because you're a fucking down and out who's in and out. You want to just go in there, take spice, and be off your nut all day, come out the same as what you went in, or even worse. Elga says, are you doing the Great North Run this year, Ricky? I'll not be doing it this year. I didn't sign up, but I have got things lined up because I have done a lot for charity since being out of prison. I raised about £7,000, but I have got loads lined up, people. Yeah, Elga, thank you. So Vanda Folks says, I first seen the news of this on Tommy Robinson's channel. Thanks, Ricky. Yes, I did. I did see it as well because one of my other friends who sent us a message actually sent us the video of Tommy Robinson, which was just a short. I think someone took it off his Twitter page and put it up. But yes, I'm going to be getting Tommy on for an interview, people. So Paul says, looks like they are trying to make the English prisons more like American prisons and make them gang-related, white, Muslim, and others. It is actually going that way, and it is, or there will be a massive overhaul in the prison system, or they'll be doing something radical to try and ease what is actually going on in the high security prisons. But like I've mentioned earlier on, the Muslims, the Brotherhood, what they refer to themselves as, have got a stronghold on the high security prisons. And if you've got a problem with them in there, you are in serious trouble. There's a lot of lads, non-Muslims, who have been put in segregation for their own safety. Even though they want to go on the wings, the screws will not let them because of what will happen to them or what they will do to somebody on the wing to then get moved to another prison. So Pilot Hobson says, any news on Manchester Airport assault on the police? Someone was on about this the other day. They did get charged with it, but I don't know the follow-up on what has actually happened. But talking about police, I will tell you, I was going to do a separate video on this. Believe it or not, the police officers that tasered how old was he again? I've done a video on this. The night 2 seconds, because I'll get it up here. The coppers that tasered the old fella have actually been found not guilty. So 92-year-old. I've done a video on it last week, I believe. And the video where they actually taser him is on. A 92-year-old man was in a nursing home. The police got called out. They were there for 1 minute, 23 seconds. The knife that he had looked like a potato peeling knife with a serrated edge. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't a deadly weapon. It was rounded and it looked more like a butter knife. You could clearly see it wasn't a dangerous weapon that would inflict serious injury on you. The old man had one leg, an amputee. He was sitting confused in his chair, sitting down, holding it. They've come in, immediately shouting and screaming, scaring him. He's just sat like that. They're shouting, drop it, drop it. You wouldn't drop it. The copper emptied a full can of powder spray on him, went all over his face. If he'd left it for a few seconds or 10 seconds, that would have been enough to incapacitate him so he couldn't move. But he then went on to pull his baton out. He was delirious, went like that with a knife. Then the other female officer decided to taser him. He then got put in hospital, and 22 days later, he died. And they tried to say it was COVID related. A 92-year-old man who will probably have breathing difficulties anyway, you empty a full can of powder spray in his face, he's going to inhale that, that's going to damage your lungs. He's then died 22 days later. The coppers were both up for excessive use of force. They've both been found not guilty, which I find absolutely outrageous. It was absolutely disgusting what they'd done to him, and they got not guilty. If you have a look on the comments on the video that I put up, I will put the link at the top at the end of this. Go back and have a look at the video. There's even an ex-copper in the comments saying he was in the force for however many years. He's been retired for about 15 years. And he was saying in the comments, this is coming from a copper as well, how disgusted he was at the way they reacted and the way they'd done that. But what you will probably not have heard of either, after this, it was shown in court. The body cam footage was shown. It was still on. When they went outside of the nursing home, they both heard it laughing and carrying on. And another copper said, did you give him the Smithy Special? The Smithy Special is a full can of powder spray. And he started laughing. Then the female copper said in court, she was crying. She said she hadn't realised he was a 92-year-old. So what you're saying, you wouldn't have done it if he wasn't 92. Absolutely ridiculous. 1 minute, 23 seconds in to a call out. He's been sprayed and tasered, and he has one leg. He could have leaned over, getting his walking stick so he couldn't get up. They could have just stood near the door and waited for him to tire out, or talked him round, asked him what the issue was, tell him that they were there to help him, make him feel safe, get him to drop the weapon. Oh no, Smithy, the copper, wanted to give him the Smithy Special and unload a full can of powder spray in his face. Absolutely outrageous. Then they went and gave him the taser as well. Absolute scumbags. So Stephanie says the care home did not have to involve the police. They didn't have to involve the police at all. Yeah. If you go back and have a look at the comments again, a lot of carers were in the comment section saying that care home is responsible as well. Why did they call the police? They could have, fair enough, if it seemed like he was getting out of control, call the police, but reassure them that he's an old man, have a word with him, don't go too severe on him. But no, they went in and done that to the poor fucker. See, Jade, sorry, where's that? Jade is a carer as well. She's heard nothing like it, honestly. A dementia with UTI and a butter knife. The poor man. Absolutely disgusting. Someone actually said as well in the comment section about it happened in Australia. I was going to do a video on this one as well. I'll probably do it next week when I get time, or maybe it's over the weekend. A 95-year-old woman, also with dementia. A big copper about the size of me, big bully fucker. Tasered her. When she had a knife in her hand, she was on a Zimmer frame. She had a knife in her hand, and he's tasered her. She just went over, banged her head, cracked her head, and died. And that's what a lot of these coppers do. Bully tactics. Not all the same, but you get the ones like this that do shit like that. Absolutely outrageous. So Jerry says, I'm a carer, Ricky. That wouldn't have happened if it was me. Exactly. You're a carer. You're there to care for people. William says, remember the council probably sold his house to pay for care, then the care home treat him like this. Absolutely. Like you're saying, you work, you then get dementia, going to a care home, and they sell your house to care for you. That's another story for another day. The UK, not just the UK prison system, the UK system altogether is fucked up. Excuse the language, but there's no other way of putting it. Right. Seekin says they killed the elderly off during COVID. Yeah, that's another story. Right. Any more questions, people, about the prison system? Carson, how you doing? Hope you're well. Carson TV. That's another story as well, Alan Hull. Lucy Letby's innocent and they know it. And I've covered stories on this previously. And I did see that latest documentary that was on. And when you watch that, it looks like it is an absolute stitch up. Lucy Letby, I also believe, does deserve a trial because she didn't have a fair trial at all. Her trial, she didn't even have any professionals on her defense team. She got slaughtered by the prosecution. Nobody wanted to defend her because they didn't want to darken her name because it's been done previously and it fucks up their professional career. So they would rather sit back and watch this trial unfold without giving their professional opinion. But there has been a panel of professionals that have been together and they have all said that she didn't do it. So I will keep us updated on that as well. So Carson TV. So Darren is up in Scotland and again, he's told us about the prison system up there. Let us know in the comments, Carson. I will get you on as well sometime. We will get an interview. Talk about your time in the Scottish prison system, but what's going on, what's happening in the Scottish prison system at the moment? I hear there's a lot of gang warfare happening in Glasgow and Edinburgh with rival families. So I can imagine these rivals are at each other inside of prison. So Alan says Lucy is the victim of the worst case of workplace mobbing, gaslighting, and psychological abuse. So Segan says, what is it with female prison officers having affairs with prisoners inside? Well, they don't get as much attention on the outside as what they do on the inside. These female prison officers, some of them can be, I'll put it politely, not very good looking. They come under a wing full of lads who have been banged up for months, years, sometimes decades. They see a new female on the wing, they start giving the wolf whistle and they start fucking giving all sorts of compliments and they love it. They've never had so much attention in all their life. Then they come across some of the proper bad lads, what you call gangsters, ones that have got a lot of money, and they can't believe it that someone like this, who's got a big name, is all over them and they want a bit of them. So they're loving the attention and they're also loving the extra money that's getting offered their way. So when they get the chance, they're in the broom cupboard, giving it a bit boom, boom. But it happens all the time. It happens more than what you actually think it does. There's been a few high-profile cases recently. And one of the last videos I'd done was about that female prison officer who was going with a bacon. She slept with him inside a prison up to 50 times, and he was an offender, an absolute wrong'un. So I don't know what she was seeing in him. She actually wanted to have these babies. What was going through her mind when she was wanting to do that? So Howard says, like the t-shirts made, there's plenty on. Yeah, they're actually £25, but these t-shirts are really good wearing. There's no shit. I would definitely not sell cheapy shit on here. You might think £25 a bit pricey for a t-shirt, but the print is actually inside the t-shirt. It's not one of these ones that just has the cheap plastic over the top. Decent t-shirts on my website. There's about 20 or 30 different hairstyles. So go get them. Go have a look, people. So what Tyler says, when you getting Tommy on? Like I've just said earlier on, I've been a few messages earlier on. So I'm going to arrange, and I will hopefully, if he's available, get him on this weekend. Talk about his time inside and expose what's happening inside the prison system, because he has got a lot to say. And like you've said, once he was in HMP Woodhill, a lot of the screws liked Tommy. They got on with Tommy. They were giving Tommy info about what's happening inside the prison system. Obviously, they're in touch with him now when he's out. And a lot of them don't agree with the way the system and the government has treated him. Not a lot of people do agree with it now. Even people that didn't like Tommy from the start do not agree with what is happening. So hopefully I'll get him on over the weekend. If not, he will definitely be on at some point. So Death Nell says, new to the channel, first live, which is awesome. Great content. Question, do you ever have a fear that doing this on YouTube and how dodgy the system is, they'll turn the sights on you for speaking up? A few people have actually said that was previously, but the way that I do my content on here and the way that I do talk about things, I know when not to go too far, and I know about the stuff that you cannot say that will end you up back in prison. A bit like people that come on and do all these people that have been sent to prison for tweets, comments, different things. I'm not that stupid to come on and say some of the stuff that some of the brain dead idiots would come on and say. So you've got to be clever on here. You've got to watch what you're saying, and you've got to make sure you don't say anything that's going to land you in trouble. Plus, a lot of the people that watch this channel, i.e. screws, coppers, probation, people from every profession, along with the ordinary folk like you lot, your subscribers, and the people that have been to prison, a wide range of people follow my channel, and all of them like the content, and they're all saying it's within reason. So that's the answer to that one. But the fear that I did have, which is a breeze now, when I was on license, if you're new to the channel, you probably wouldn't know this. I was on IPP, which is imprisonment for public protection, which was a 99-year sentence. So I was serving a sentence where I could have been kept in prison for the rest of my life. Luckily, in September, I had it terminated because new laws came in, because that sentence was found to be inhumane, and it should have been abolished retrospectively. It was abolished in 2012 because it was deemed inhumane, but the people like myself were kept on it. So I've only just came off it in September. So when I'm saying about probation and police watching this channel, they were watching me whilst I was serving a sentence out here in the community. And the fear that I used to have was, if I say something wrong on here, probation are going to recall me. But I no longer have that restriction, and that's why the channel's flying. Because I did used to watch what I say. I did used to talk a bit slower, thinking about exactly what I was saying, because I did used to think that if I say something wrong, these scumbags will put me back in prison. Right, Carson, they need to get rid of that law. Let's see, he did say something about the prison system. And Carson says there, keep it real and facts. Right, this is a question, because I asked him before, what's the prison system like? And I did say about the different families' rivals up in Scotland. So how the English prisons are so different from Scotland and gangways is mostly the known families that run the jails. So I can imagine that the two, well, there is a couple of main families up in Scotland, and they are at war with each other at the minute because it's constantly videos and articles popping up about places getting firebombed, etc. Two families warring with each other, different gangs. So I can imagine inside the prison system, these will be warring with each other. Same over in the Irish prison system, because I have had a couple of Irish lads on, more so Dubsino, but some of the people have sent us messages who didn't want to broadcast it on here for obvious reasons, who have been in the Irish prison systems. A lot of them from Ireland don't like to talk about the time inside because, as you can imagine, there's a couple of families, which I'll not need to mention, over in Ireland who are notorious. They are warring with each other, next level war, and it spills over into the prisons, so you can imagine what goes on inside there. So, Death, cheers, nice one, cheers. I watched your video about your history. I see a new subscribed a month or so ago, so been binge watching, top fella. Thank you very much, appreciate it. But I am at about 104,000 subscribers at the moment. Absolutely flying up. The channel is doing great. But I will be getting more of these videos on. I will be doing daily lives soon when I get more time. I've got a lot of plans coming up, and I am going to be doing more daily lives talking about the prison news, because the amount of news that's coming through on my app, my prison news app, it's hard to keep up with it all, and it's hard to pick which story to come on here and talk about. There's that much. Someone did say it once. There's only so far you can go with this channel because you'll run out of things to talk about. Believe you me, you'll never run out of fucking prison stories and the people that are going in prison. Coppers, prison officers, bacons. Talk a lot about the bacons on here, exposing them. Right, people, I'm going to wrap it up in a couple of minutes. So if there's any more questions on the prison system, fire away. So what's this? Oh. So he says, so would it be possible to have the private meds delivered from the pharmacy? If you're on about medication inside of prison, you've got a medical condition and you need your medication, whatever medicine you're on from the NHS or from your doctors out here, when you go into prison, they ask you what meds you're on. A lot of prisoners do lie to try and get extra meds, but they do go onto the system, log in, and they can say exactly what meds you're on. A lot of people are on mental health medication for depression, anxiety, whatever. That will be delivered to you within a matter of hours. But you get it at the hatch, where there's a nurse's hatch on every prison wing. They are behind a metal door with obviously slap metal bars, and the nurse is behind the metal bars for obvious reasons, so you can't get inside and pinch all the medication. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of thieves in prison who will pinch the medication given the chance. But the nurses pass it through the hatch, and it's given out on a morning, dinner time, and a night time. It's never in your possession unless it's medication that is not harmful. Right. So Will says, yes, Ricky, hope you're good, lad. I've not been inside for the past 10 years. After many years done behind the door, we'll definitely get some of your tops. Respect, brother. Thank you very much, Will. But in 10 years, the prison system has changed massively. It'll not have changed as much as you'll still see the same faces, not that you'll want to go back in, but it is the same old shit, apart from it's getting worse. The violence is getting worse, the drug use is getting worse, and the conditions are getting worse because you're not getting the lads. I mean, I've got a couple of friends that still ring us from inside a prison, and if the screws don't turn in, or if they're understaffed, what happens? The lads are banged up. You don't get out for your shower, you don't get out for you still get your exercise, but you might get 15 minutes instead of an hour. And as you can imagine, that's making the prisoners worse. So it's not a very nice place to be, it's not a very nice time, I should say, to be doing time inside a prison at the moment. Unless you want to go in there and make a load of money and get off your nut. Then you're going to love it. Right, people, I'm going to wrap this one up now. Thank you very much for watching. But if there is any more designs, I mean, have a look at my t-shirts. There is about 20 different designs. But if there is any more that you would like, let us know in the comments or drop us a message, and I will get a good design up for whatever you like, because obviously it's you a lot back at home that are going to be buying these t-shirts. So let us know which ones you would like. So again, thank you everyone for watching. It is Friday. Watch what you're doing. Stay safe. Keep off the beak. Keep off the drink. Keep yourself fresh. Get in the gym, because that's what I'll be doing. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and enjoy your weekend.